Hi, everybody. It's me, Carol, from Healthcare Potholes with Christian Faith. Um, Last night was a little bit of a rough night with a family member, but other than that, that's all I'm going to say. Um, I stayed up late last night listening to a guy's sermon called Stephen Furtick, and he's at the Elevation Church, and he goes around and he has certain things that he does where he fills stadiums and has a band with him, and he also witnesses and talks about the Bible and about God. And um, yesterday, his sermon that I caught happened to be on Joshua verse 3, number 13 to 14, he was talking about. And I thought, wow, that's kind of interesting that he would be picking up on Joshua. And the verse Joshua, which a lot of my viewers might not know, that there's an Old Testament in the Bible and there's the New Testament. In the Old Testament, God is the primary source of the Old Testament. And in the New Testament, Jesus was born, and we walk through his life of, the 33 years and everything, and him collecting his disciples and witnessing to people and the whole backgammon. So there's a difference between the New Testament and the Old Testament. The Old Testament, Jesus wasn't in it. It was just primarily God. And there was these high priests in it, and God had gone ahead of the high priests, and there is a river Jordan, which we still know today as being the river Jordan. It's a river that John the Baptist had baptized Jesus in, and I also was baptized by the water of River Jordan as well. Our minister had brought it back when I was so sick, fighting for my life when I was a baby, and had me baptized with him and his wife, because they were on a trip over at the Holy Land. And they took a jar of water back, and he brought it back to baptize kids in the church and babies in the church for till they ran out of the water. And so I was baptized by the River Jordan. A lot of people probably don't even know that, but that is true. And so, anyhow, and I didn't know this about the River Jordan because I'd never heard our ministers talk about it. And apparently, 20 miles upstream, God had gone and he had dammed it up. And when the high priests had gotten down to the River Jordan, they were carrying something very precious in their hands. And the one high priest touched his big toe into the River Jordan, and all of a sudden it stopped flowing. Yeah, and the River Jordan goes downhill. So this is kind of interesting. And I thought, oh, I didn't ever know that fact about the River Jordan. So I learned something yesterday by listening to somebody different. And it was just really weird because a couple days before that, I had said to Gary, I said, I think I'm going to do a thing about being baptized by the River Jordan. And I just think it would be cool to do that. And and the River Jordan is not a clear river. It's a very murky river. It's like, yuck, but that's the river that Jesus was baptized in by John the Baptist. And after John the Baptist baptized Jesus, he got thinking maybe he really wasn't the Messiah. And yet this was his cousin. Anyhow, it was kind of interesting. And John the Baptist really didn't want to baptize the Messiah. He felt he should be the one baptizing him. So there was even upheaval back then, many years ago. And that was in the New Testament that happened. So you'll have to read the New Testament to find out about John the Baptist baptizing Jesus. And yes, they did behead John the Baptist, which is sad, but they did do that. But anyhow, Stephen Furtick from the Elevation Church, I can never remember that Elevation Church. He talks about if God calls you to do something, then you need to do it, and you need to do it joyfully, and you need to keep on doing it. You need to keep on putting your foot in front of the other, in front of the other, in front of the other, to keep on doing it. And I thought to myself, boy, you really hit it on the nail. Um, I just feel that I was drawn to do my YouTube video clips by God. And when Jesus was down in my changing room to heal my tooth, infected tooth, and dry socket and suture reaction, he was there to heal me or take me over. And I told him I wanted to be healed, not taken over just yet. I had a lot of things to do, and I was thinking about I needed to get that book wrote, but my vision has been so screwed up and blurred from not getting my cataracts done and from my kidney failure from the COVID shots and different things like that. So I really had it pretty rough here. And so then it came to me when I went to my minister, one of the associate pastors. He said, well, why don't you do, YouTube or TikTok or something along those lines and talk about your walk with Christ. I think people would be very interested in knowing about your walk with Christ. And as I've gotten into doing my video clips and talking about my walk with Christ, I've just continued. And I think it's important because there's a lot of people out there that have health issues that are going through things. There's a lot of people that have financial discord, like me, that are going through things. And I think that we could be a support online. And, when you have people that want to, shut you down or tell you to stop doing it, and putting ultimatums on you, that's sort of like blackmail. I don't really participate in that. And, you know, just a lot of things like that. It's just a very upsetting, very upsetting. So, I turned it right away over to God, right away over to God. I said, you deal with it. I can't deal with it. I'm too sick to deal with it with my kidney infections and gut infection. And, I'm just going to turn it over and leave you handle it. And that's what I've done. And God has been so good. They bumbled my culture report, so now I have to go and do another one probably. So I'm just sitting here waiting to find out what I have to do. And I think what I'll do is I'll have my brother take me up to urgent care and drop me off, and he can go off to his appointment and come back and pick me up. But it is what it is. It's very frustrating. So anyhow, I just feel like God has drawn me into doing these video clips, and I'm going to continue to do them because that's what He wants me to do. And if I can help someone in their life and in their walk with Christ, then I hope I have done that. And it's just so important, so important. And so I'm keeping this on the short side because I'm waiting for a call, and I have a dog that's wandering around and has been for over an hour, and he wants to think he's got to go back out again and back in and back out. And so I got to get up and put him back out every 10 minutes. So I don't know what's going on with him. Hopefully he doesn't have what his mom has. And, anyhow, I just wanted to get a quick one off and say that, I'm going to continue to still do my YouTube videos. I feel God has drawn me into it and Jesus. And, like I said last night in my fellowship, when I saw Karen Watkins, that, you know, God is picking his disciples down here now. And this guy asked, in Joshua 3, verse 13 and 14, you know, what does God want us to do? Well, it isn't what God wants us to do. God is picking his disciples because he knows something big is going to happen. And he wants to get all his ducks in a row. God has always been like that, and God will always be like that. There is no ands, ifs, or buts about it. God always gets things in the row. And he moves things out of the way, puts things back. And, it was just like all of a sudden, after me being so sick for so long, that someone came along and decided to do some cultures and let's test this out and see what's going on. Okay, fine. I'm all for it. And that's where we're at. So that's where we're at. So anyhow, I just wanted to say, keep the faith with God. My battery is running low, so I gotta get my phone on the charger so I can get my doctor's phone call. So, and I gotta get Hayden out. So anyhow, just know that he loves you. Um, if you're hearing from him and he's directing you to do something that's appropriate, then please do it. And know that he's guiding you, and that's okay. And trust in him, and you'll have some hurdles along the way. He never said life would be easy. And we're going to talk a little more about that as the day goes and when I get back and my phone gets charged and everything. So anyhow, have a good one, and we'll talk later.